All right. Hi, guys. If you don't know me, my name is Hannah Hamilton. I'm a registered dietitian, and we are doing our monthly nutrition class with the Rural Health Network. And this month, since it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month for the month of October, we are going to focus on nutrition and cancer. All right, so I'm sure all of you've seen, all the pink ribbons everywhere. October is a big month because of the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we definitely try to promote a lot of preventative cancer treatments, preventative ways to prevent cancer, especially breast cancer. So we're going to discuss a little bit more about that. But this year's theme for October is It's Time to Rise. And they chose this theme because it's been a really challenging year for everyone with the pandemic. It has delayed a lot of services, and getting preventative medical treatment has been very hard over the last year and a half. Last year, there were many setbacks in cancer screenings and early detection services. So this year, we are rising up to the challenge together. And I have a short video to show you from the American Cancer Society.
This is our moment to rise up and do even more. We have some ground to make up, but we're not looking back. We're moving forward together and asking the questions that will help us get there. Where might we go if every woman had access to the care and screening she needs? What might the future look like with more education, more screening, more health equity? How might the story change if we all gave a little of our time, our resources, our energy? Together we rise. It's time to rally in screening everyone. It's time to rally in serving everyone. It's time to rally in supporting everyone.
So that was a really nice video that the American Cancer Society put together. Just, we're all coming together. It's all of our responsibility to make sure everyone gets those preventative screenings. So just wanted to share that with you. Presentation. Okay. All right, so getting back to the presentation. So I wanted to talk about a little bit what is cancer. Just want to give you a brief overview. Cancer is a broad term for a class of diseases that present with abnormal cell growth that invade healthy cells in the body. Cancer can start almost anywhere in the body. The abnormal cell growth can lead to tumors, which are lumps of tissue. Breast cancer specifically is a disease in which malignant or cancer cells form in the tissues of the breast. Cancer is the second leading cause of death. Heart disease is the first, in both men and women in the United States. And the picture to the right is a dividing breast cancer cell. So I want to talk a little bit about the causes and the risk factors for breast cancer specifically. So the exact cause of breast cancer is unknown, but there are factors that increase the risk of breast cancer that we should all be aware of. These risk factors include drinking alcohol, which is an avoidable cause, and having a family history of breast cancer, which is an unavoidable cause. And some things that I wanted to mention that do not cause breast cancer, which have people, spread some misinformation about in the past, include caffeine, deodorant, microwaves, cell phones, and contact with someone who has cancer. So all of those things I just mentioned do not have any cause of breast cancer. So early detection is really important when it comes to breast cancer. According to the American Cancer Society, when you discover breast cancer early enough and it is in a localized stage, the 5-year relative survival rate is 99%. So that's very high. That's why we support and promote early detection so much when it comes to breast cancer. Early detection includes monthly self-breast exams, which you do yourself, and then scheduling regular clinic exams and mammograms. Many symptoms are invisible, so they do need a clinician to diagnose, but some can be caught by self-exam. By doing that monthly self-check, you can catch the visible ones early. These include a change in how the breast or the nipple feels or looks. So some things you want to look for: if there's a nipple tenderness or lump or thickening in or near the breast or underarm area, if there's any kind of change in the skin texture or an enlargement of pores in the skin of the breast, or if there is a lump in the breast, which is not always cancerous, but it's always good to check out with a healthcare provider. So when you do these monthly exams, if any of those things come up, and it's definitely something you want to discuss with your provider, and if more exams are needed, they can let you know. And I did want to briefly mention, so the Rural Health Network is offering detection services. They offer free breast exam and free mammogram to those who qualify. So if you haven't done so already, I highly recommend you give them a call and discuss options for those free breast exams and the mammograms. Okay, so nutrition and cancer prevention. So according to the World Health Organization, between 30 and 50% of cancers can be prevented by avoiding risk factors and following evidence-based prevention methods. And diet and nutrition are included in these methods, and they are highlighted in the American Cancer Society. They have a diet and physical activity guidelines. The most recent ones are from 2020. These guidelines were created by a panel of experts in cancer research, prevention, and public health. They reflect the most current scientific evidence related to dietary and activity patterns and cancer risk. These guidelines are consistent with the other guidelines from the American Heart Association and the American Diabetes Association for prevention of heart disease and diabetes, as well as just general health for the population. These guidelines have been in place since the 1980s, and they are continually updated based on current research. So I want to go through the main aspects of the diet and exercise part of the American Cancer Society's prevention. The first one is the achieve and maintain a healthy body weight throughout lifetime. We've talked a lot about maintaining a healthy body weight and weight loss in these series. So if you've missed any of those, I highly recommend going back and reviewing some of those. The Successful Weight Loss Tips is a great one to give you some pointers on if you are going through weight loss and how to achieve that weight loss successfully. But here I just want to touch on a few. You do want to keep your body weight at a healthy weight, and this is considered of having a BMI between 18.5 and 24.99. If you don't know that number, you can ask your doctor at your next checkup once they get your weight, and they can let you know what your BMI is. Or you can calculate that with your weight and your height, and you look up a quick calculation online. You also want to avoid weight gain in adult life. So being mindful of where you're at in your adult life and monitoring that weight can really help prevent any further weight gain. And be aware of your changes. So one of the proven tools we discussed in the Successful Weight Loss class was monitoring your weight. And this can be different for different people. This can be, so you can get an idea in your head of where a good weight is for you, and if you start going up or start going down in that aspect as well. And another thing can really help to achieve and maintain a healthy body weight is building muscle. We do recommend strength training 2 times a week or more, but building muscle can really help maintain a healthy body weight. It helps burn more fat when you have more muscle, so it's a good thing to work on, especially as we age, because we do lose more muscle as we age. The second thing that they talk about is the importance of physical activity for cancer prevention. We've talked about exercise a lot in almost every single one of our presentations because it is so important for a healthy lifestyle. So the goal is 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity per week. So if you've been in with me in the past with the other presentations, you saw my goal of 150 minutes a week. They up it to almost 300 minutes a week. So they give you a nice range here. So they just really want to highlight the importance of physical activity in the cancer prevention aspect. Or you can do more higher intensity activity, a little bit less time. So getting your heart rate a little bit more. An example of this would be something like high intensity interval training, would be a higher intensity activity you can do. Sprinting, playing sports can be higher intensity, things like that. And then for children and adolescents, they should get a minimum of 1 hour of moderate to vigorous activity a day. This is really important for children, especially with a lot of screen time increasing as we get more into technology. So we really need to stay on top of the kids nowadays to monitor that screen time and make sure they're getting that minimum 1 hour of play a day away from the screens. Really want to limit that sedentary behavior, sitting, laying down for long periods of time, increase screen time, which I just touched on. So if you are at a desk job and you sit for 8-10 hours a day, really trying to make it a point to stand up, like maybe once every hour, break up the day, maybe go do a 30-minute walk in the middle of the day. Trying to get some movement throughout the day can be really beneficial. Physical inactivity has been linked to a high risk of colon cancer, female breast cancer, and endometrial cancers. Again, increased muscle is really important. It helps with longevity. 3, following a healthy eating pattern throughout your life. So you guys, if you've been, again, with me in my other presentations, you've seen this plate several times. This is kind of what your plate wants to look like for your meals. Really trying to make those fruits and vegetables half your plate. That protein should always be included about 1/4 of your plate. Carbohydrates are important, but we want to limit those, and same with fats, choosing more healthier fats. So you want to eat mostly whole, unprocessed foods most of the time. You want to try and include all the macronutrients with every meal or snack. The macronutrients are the proteins, those healthy fats, and those carbs. We want to eat protein and fiber-rich foods throughout the day. This helps us keep full, satisfied, helps maintain muscle, and helps with healthy digestion. We want to eat fruits and vegetables every day, okay? They want a minimum of 5 servings total a day of fruits and vegetables. This is really important for cancer prevention. Drinking enough fluids is really important. We recommend about 11 cups or more for women, 13 or more cups for men. And this should be mostly water or calorie-free beverages, really trying to stay away from those calorie beverages like soda, juices, Gatorades, things like that should be very limited. Limiting alcohol, as we mentioned previously, alcohol is one of the biggest contributors to breast cancer and in cancer in general, so really trying to limit as much as you can. Limit processed meats like salami, things like that. Added sugars, watching how much you're consuming throughout the day. Again, limiting the sugar sweetened beverages can really help with this as well. Limiting soda, juice, things like that. And then also limiting saturated and trans fats and choosing better fats that are monounsaturated, polyunsaturated, things like avocados, nuts and seeds, extra virgin olive oil, healthier fats in that aspect. Number 4, alcohol, trying to avoid if possible. If you do use alcohol, it is recommended to limit to 1 drink a day for women and 2 drinks a day for men. If you haven't seen, there's some really great mock drinks out there, recipes. They make some great, mojitos, things like that that are alcohol free. So if you enjoy things like that, you can definitely make one that's alcohol free. Okay, and then they also touch on recommendation for community action. So this is another important part of their nutrition and cancer prevention guidelines. They really want to focus on public health and community really making an impact. So public, private, and community organizations should work collaboratively at national, state, and local levels to develop, advocate for, and implement policy and environmental changes that increase access to affordable, nutritious foods and provide a safe, enjoyable, and accessible opportunity for physical activity, and limit alcohol for all individuals. So I just wanted to thank Rural Health Network for sponsoring these nutrition classes that are free for anyone in the community, really for anyone in the world to watch. So that's great that they do that. And we really need to work together as a community to provide more access to, nutritious foods, physical activity, things, people can do besides drinking alcohol in the Keys. So it's great that we're able to do that and be here today. Okay, so now I want to touch on cancer and nutrition therapy. So nutrition is an important part of cancer treatment. So we're going to talk about that treatment before, during, and after. We're going to talk about proper nutrition helps you fight better and stay stronger. It helps maintain your weight, helps tolerate better treatments when you do go through cancer treatments. It lowers your risk of infection and also helps you heal faster. Nutrients needs vary depending on the person and the diagnosis. Usually when you have cancer, you will have a cancer team that includes a registered dietitian like myself that will help identify your nutrition goals and help you meet them. So there are some important nutrients to consider with nutrition and cancer. So the first one is protein. So protein is needed for continued growth, to repair body tissue and keep our immune system strong. When protein is too low, the body can start breaking down muscle for fuel. This can make recovery from illness harder and lower our immune system. Most of the time, cancer patients need even more protein to keep this from happening. So it's one of the most important nutrients to consider. Make sure you're getting enough of. After surgery, chemotherapy, radiation therapy, protein is usually needed to help heal and fight infections. You want to make sure that you choose good sources of protein. Again, think back to that eat more for protein that we've talked in previous lectures, like things like fish, chicken, lean red meats, low-fat dairy, nuts, beans, lentils. Fats can be a rich source of energy for the body. We use fats to store energy, to insulate body tissue, and to absorb important nutrients. Again, we want to choose monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats most often, and limit those saturated and trans fats. Again, good sources include avocados, nuts and seeds, and extra virgin olive oil. Carbohydrates. This is the body's main source of energy. It provides fuel for activities and proper organ function. Best sources are whole grain food sources like fruits, whole grains, and vegetables, which provide vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients to our body cells. Again, water, really important. All cells in the body need water to function properly. And sometimes cancer patients lose excess fluids through vomiting and diarrhea. So dehydration is more at an increased risk for these patients. So really trying to drink at least a minimum, if not more, those 11 to 13 cups a day. And all liquids count. So water is not the only liquid that counts. Other things count as well. Vitamins and minerals. So we usually get what we need from eating whole foods, but some cancer patients may have a hard time eating enough. So this is when your dietitian and your doctor may recommend a multivitamin or some other supplement that you may need, but you always want to discuss supplements with your cancer team before taking them, because some supplements may interact with your cancer treatments. So it's really important to keep your whole team in the loop when it comes to taking supplements. Antioxidants, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of before. These include vitamin A, C, and E, selenium and zinc, and some enzymes that absorb and attach to free radicals. They can prevent them from attacking normal cells. To increase these nutrients, we want to eat a variety of fruits and vegetables. Taking supplements or vitamin-enhanced foods is usually not recommended while getting cancer treatments. Again, discuss with your cancer team before taking supplements. So some foods that are high in those antioxidants that we just discussed include oranges, bell peppers, strawberries, papaya, broccoli, squash, carrots, sweet potatoes, and nuts and seeds. So a lot of cancer treatments are harsh on the body. Not only do some treatments kill cancer cells, but they also kill and damage healthy cells. So this damage can cause side effects that can greatly affect our nutrition. We're going to talk about a few common side effects, which include loss of appetite, sore mouth and throat, dry mouth, dental and gum issues, changes in taste and smells, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, increased fatigue, and depression. Okay, so I wanted to touch on treatments that affect nutrition before your treatment starts and what you can do to be proactive before that treatment. What side effects you will experience with your specific treatment plan are sometimes unknown since they affect everyone differently. So we really recommend to reduce anxiety about your treatment, to start taking some action before that treatment plan starts. Discuss your plan and how it may make you feel with your team, and plan on how you will cope with the possible side effects and come up with a plan to help you feel more in control and ready for the road ahead. So here's some tips below to help ready for treatment when it comes to nutrition. So you really want to stock your fridge, pantry, and freezer with your favorite foods. Include foods that you can eat when you're not feeling well. Cook meals, foods in advance, and freeze in meal-sized portions. This one, that meal prep presentation can come in handy. Really trying to, like I said, cook meals, do things in advance, put things in Tupperwares, freeze things, make soups ahead of time, do as much as you can before that treatment starts. You can also discuss your needs with your family and friends who will be supporting you, and you can ask for help with shopping, cooking, and preparing meals. Now we're going to talk about during treatment. So once the treatment starts, continue following a healthy diet to help your body function at its best. Some cancers work better in people who are nourished and getting enough nutrition. Some cancer treatments. Tips for nutrition once treatment starts. Try new foods. Some foods may taste differently during treatment. Choose a variety of plant-based foods. Try some plant-based protein-rich foods like lentils and beans. Consume fruits and vegetables every day. These are going to be your antioxidant-rich foods. Include citrus fruits, dark green and deep yellow vegetables. More color in your meals means more health-promoting substances. Choose high nutrient foods most often. So sometimes you're not feeling like eating very much, so it's really important sometimes in what you are choosing to eat. So really trying to limit those empty calorie or those empty nutrient foods, which usually are those high sugar foods, beverages, and those highly processed foods. Adding in snacks can be an important part of treatment. A lot of times you will need extra calories and protein, and snacks can provide this extra nutrition that you need. So eating small snacks throughout the day can be helpful, and sometimes it's all we can handle instead of a big meal. So you really want to keep a variety of protein-rich, calorie-rich snacks on hand. Ideas include yogurt with fruits and nuts, cheese and crackers, bowl of hearty soup. Again, this is where the prepping that food in advance and having these foods in your pantry and your fridge can really come in handy. Weight loss is a side effect with some of the treatments when it comes for cancer. Some tips for increasing the calories and protein include eating several small meals a day instead of 3 big ones, eating every few hours, even if you aren't too hungry. Eat your favorite foods, no matter the time of day. Go for a walk before meals. This can sometimes help increase your appetite and lead to more intake. And add in high-calorie shakes. There's so many great high-calorie smoothies out there. Just research high-calorie smoothies, and you're going to find a bunch of them. But you can add high-calorie foods like whole yogurt, whole milk, peanut butter. Avocado can be really good in smoothies sometimes. And then you can also add fruits and vegetables to the smoothies too for extra antioxidants. So smoothies is a great one to add to your diet. So during treatment, it's also recommended to try to get some type of physical activity in. Not only does it help maintain muscle mass, strength, and stamina during treatment, but it can also help reduce fatigue, stress, nausea, and constipation. It can improve appetite, and it can also help with our sleep. So talk to your cancer team about starting an exercise plan that works for you. Let them know that it is what you do want to add that as part of your treatment. And usually they do discuss that with you, and they do recommend that as well. So cancer treatment can weaken your body's immune system, which can make it harder to fight infection and illness. So you really want to make sure that your food handling is done properly when you're going through treatment, and you want to reduce your risk of having any kind of foodborne illness. So here's some tips for better food handling. You always want to wash your hands before and after preparing food. I'm sure we're all pretty good at washing our hands by now, but even more important when you are working with food. You want to make sure that you're refrigerating foods at 40 degrees or below. And you want to make sure you're keeping hot food hot, warmer than 140 degrees, and cold foods cold, below 40 degrees. This is really important because anywhere between those two zones is increased risk of more bacteria growing on your foods. You want to make sure you're thawing meats in the microwave or in the fridge in the dish to catch any drips. We don't want to thaw anything at room temperature when we're going through treatments. We want to use defrosted foods immediately, and we never want to refreeze any defrosted foods, any kind of half-frozen foods. You don't want to refreeze those. You want to make sure you're rinsing all your produce one at a time under running water. This is really important. We want to use different utensils for stirring and tasting different foods. We don't want to do any kind of cross-contamination. You want to be using different cutting boards and knives for different foods. So for example, you know, a lot of people use like a green board when they're cutting vegetables and fruits, and then they use a red board for cutting meats, just to make sure there's no cross-contamination happening between the foods. And making sure your foods are cooked well. We want to avoid any undercooked or raw food when we're going through treatments. Meat should be cooked to 160 degrees, and they actually want your chicken to be cooked up to 180 degrees. So this is about 20 degrees warmer than what we usually recommend. So we definitely want to make sure that the food is cooked very, very well when we're going through treatment. And these are some of the side effects that can happen during treatment, which I mentioned before. So diarrhea is one. You want to make sure if you are having diarrhea to drink plenty of extra fluid. It's very, very important to prevent dehydration. Eat small, frequent meals instead of large ones. Eat high sodium and high potassium foods to replace the electrolytes that you're losing. And then you want to avoid greasy, gassy foods. A lot of times that makes it worse. If you are having constipation, again, drinking more fluids is really important to help relieve the constipation. Also, eating more higher fiber foods, fruits and vegetables. Limit any type of excuse me, problem foods that you know causes constipation for you. We're all different in that aspect. So keeping a food journal when you're going through treatments can be really helpful, and writing down how you're feeling after certain foods. And then using laxatives as directed by your cancer team if needed. So again, keeping your cancer team involved and to let them know what's going on, so they can help as they can. Nausea, another common side effect. Recommend eating several small meals a day, again, instead of larger ones. Eating really dry, plain foods like crackers and toast and dry cereal. Eat cool foods instead of spicy or hot foods. Avoiding greasy foods. And making sure you're sitting up after you're eating, so you're not eating and then laying down, or even eating or drinking anything laying down. And fatigue. So with fatigue, we really want you to prioritize your activities and complete the important ones when you have the most energy. Okay, so if you're feeling good, you know, take care of things that need to get done when you feel the best. Take short walks and consistent exercise. Moderate activity has been shown to help decrease cancer-related fatigue. So a little bit of exercise actually helps increase our energy. And then really trying to find ways to reduce stress. That can really help with reducing fatigue as well. Dry mouth, okay? Increase fluids throughout the day. So, you know, have a water bottle near you and sip on fluids throughout the day. Take small bites of your foods and chew them very well. And then really try to moisten your foods well with things like broth, sauces, yogurt. Sucking on gum or hard candies can help, and also limiting caffeine. So things like coffee and tea. Mouth sores, you want to eat soft, bland foods like yogurt, pasta, soup, oatmeal. Sometimes you can even do purified or liquefied foods, or those smoothies we mentioned before. Limiting spicy foods. Drinking through a straw can help bypass any of those sores. Consuming adequate protein. A good protein is going to help us heal faster. Avoiding any type of alcohol and carbonated beverages. The taste or smell changes, which can occur. We recommend avoiding any kind of metal utensils. Avoiding any kind of canned goods, with metal. Season your fish with tart flavors. Reduce red meats if they taste strange, choosing chicken or fish or dairy instead. Trying smoothies, and again, drinking through a straw to reduce any type of smell. Okay, now we're going to talk about after treatment when it comes to cancer and treatments. So most nutrition-related side effects will disappear once the treatment is done. Low appetite, dry mouth, and changes in taste and weight changes are more likely to stick around after treatment. So those are ones you want to be aware of. So again, keeping your cancer team and your dietitian up to date about what's going on and discussing a nutrition plan for after the treatment is over. Okay, so after treatment, tips for healthy eating post-cancer. You really want to check with your team if there are any special dietary instructions that you need to do. So say if you lost weight and you need to regain that weight back, again, discussing a nutrition plan is really important at that point. Follow a healthy eating pattern, high in colorful vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. Again, trying to limit those red and processed meats, sugar and sugary drinks, and highly processed foods. And again, avoiding alcohol if possible. So these are all very similar to cancer prevention strategies that we discussed earlier. Once you do have cancer and you recover from cancer, you are at a higher risk of getting cancer again than someone that did not have cancer before. So it is very, very important to continue with your nutrition strategies and to continue eating a healthy diet, continue exercising, and continue doing a lot of the other things that we discussed. I did want to go through some common nutrition and cancer questions. These are some that seem to come up quite a bit, so I just wanted to touch on these. So the first one I hear a lot is it okay to eat soy? So a lot of people hear that soy mimics estrogen in the body, and this can increase the risk of cancer, specifically breast cancer. And is this true? So soy foods are in foods such as edamame or soybeans, tofu, and soy beverages like silk or soy milk. And they are healthy foods. They are rich in something called plant estrogens, which are called phytoestrogens. And they do have some newer evidence that found that soy foods are safe when eaten in similar amounts to a typical Asian diet. And they eat about 2 servings of soy a day. It is unclear if soy has benefits beyond general health in terms of lowering the risk of cancer reoccurrence or improving survival. So soy is not recommended to eliminate or avoid for cancer, decreasing cancer risk, and it is safe to eat about 2 servings a day, like I just mentioned. But when it does come to supplements, they do not recommend using soy supplements, especially when you are going through cancer treatment, because sometimes they have high levels of those phytoestrogens, and we just don't know how high they can be because supplements are not regulated, so we don't know exactly what's in them all the time. So we do recommend avoiding any type of soy supplement if you are going through treatment with cancer or if you're post-cancer treatment. Okay, number 2. I heard that sugar and or carbs feed cancer and should be limited and avoided. Is this true? So this statement is very misleading. The fear that sugar feeds cancer may be based on the fact that cancer cells, like other healthy cells in the body, use sugar as a source of energy. While this is true, it's not possible to prevent cancer cells from using sugar by eliminating sugar from the diet. But sugar should be limited from added sources because of the poor nutrition quality. Our bodies do well at processing sugar from whole foods. So good carbohydrate sources from fruits and vegetables and whole grains are recommended to eat, especially through treatment, especially after treatment. There's no evidence that these will feed cancer any more than it feeds healthy cells as well. So we need those as part of a healthy diet. Number 3, should I choose organic foods only if I have cancer because of pesticides? So I hear this a lot too. A lot of people, choose organic foods to reduce their risk of pesticides because they've heard that it can cause cancer. So what does the evidence say? So it suggests that there may be a possible association between pesticides and some cancers. However, the association is not clear and more research is needed. Additional research is needed to determine if pesticides are associated with an increased risk of breast cancer. Overall, it is believed that the potential risks associated with pesticides are not as great as the nutritional value of plant foods in their role in cancer prevention and promoting good health. Therefore, whether you choose organic or not, it is important to eat a diet rich in fruits and vegetables and obtain the recommended servings per day. So the importance of fruits and vegetables outweighs any sort of pesticides in the foods. This is pretty much what that is saying. So if you are not, organic food is very, very expensive. A lot of times, we don't even have access to a lot of organic foods down here. So it is definitely you don't want to avoid any types of fruits and vegetables just because they're not organic, because the benefits of eating fruits and vegetables is so high at cancer prevention, it outweighs any type of risk that those pesticides might cause. So I hope that answers some of your questions about the myths about cancer and nutrition. So I did want to touch on those. And there are my references. All right, are there any questions? Elizabeth.
Miss Arita is here and she has a question. I'm not sure if the camera will pan over to her, but you can go ahead and speak.
Yeah, I don't see her. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. I have a question about when you're talking about sodas.
Okay.
I've been buying Zero, Coke Zero, because I'm thinking that that's better, but I want to ask, is it better or is it the same dangerous stuff?
No, so they've done a lot of newer research on the artificial sweeteners, so that is what is in diet sodas. So things like sucralose, which is Splenda, stevia, the pink packets, the blue packets. They've done aspartame, things like that, and they have found that in a normal dose of what we usually eat or drink throughout the day, there is no harm in consuming those foods. There's no increased risk of cancer. There's no increased risk of weight gain. There's no increased risk of insulin sensitivity. So yes, I would definitely choose a 0-calorie soda over a sugar calorie soda, a regular soda for sure.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
But it has sweetener? Zero has sweetener?
Yeah, it has something called an artificial sweetener.
So I thought it's different than diet soda. I thought that zero is different. I know diet has stuff in it.
No, so the diet soda, I think it's just a different sweetener. So the diet soda, like a Diet Coke, has aspartame in it, and I'm pretty sure the Coke Zero has sucralose in it. So it's just two different types of artificial sweeteners. So they just taste a little bit different. So it just depends on which one which taste preference you prefer. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm actually drinking one right now, or I was drinking one. This one is made with stevia. They're pretty tasty. Yeah, I like these ones a lot. So stevia is a more natural sweetener. So it's made from a plant. It's also 0 calories. It's not any better nutritionally than the other ones, but I just like the taste of it better. It's really based on your preference. So these are pretty good too. But yes, they're all 0 calories, 0 sugar. They're just made with different types of sweeteners that are 0, that don't contribute to any calories or sugar. Yeah, so you're okay with drinking those. Definitely no association of increased risk of cancer or diabetes or heart disease or diabetes, anything like that. So definitely a better choice.
She has another question.
Okay.
You didn't cover anything about plant-based diet. Do you know how a person who is not on a plant-based diet can transition into one for healthy reasons?
Okay. So plant-based diet, do you mean completely vegan, so no animal products at all, or just increasing fruits and vegetables in the diet? What do you mean by plant-based? There's a lot of different definitions of it.
Yeah, coming off of meat.
Okay. So there's definitely ways to do that. So a lot of people do follow a vegan or so vegan diet means no animal products whatsoever. So no dairy, no eggs, no fish, and obviously no meats at all. So, there are healthy ways to follow that type of diet. You just want to make sure that you're aware of the deficiencies in that diet. So specifically B12 is one of the nutrients that you do need to consider supplementing when you do something like a plant-based diet, and then also making sure you're getting proper amounts of omega-3 fatty acids, which usually come from fish sources. So supplementing something like B12 and omega-3s is important usually with a vegan diet. And then also with the vegan diet, making sure you're getting enough protein sources as well. So not just eating fruits and vegetables, but also eating beans and lentils are really important, and nuts and seeds, to make sure you're eating enough and getting enough protein as well. Especially something like cancer, which protein is a very important nutrient to consider, and you need to get a good amount of. So you definitely need to be aware of what plant foods have higher amounts of protein, and make sure you're eating those at every meal. So it is a lot of beans, it's a lot of lentils, it's a lot of nuts and seeds. There's also stuff like quinoa is going to be higher in a protein source. There's a lot of chickpea and lentil and bean pastas that are really high in protein. So again, just making sure you're getting enough of those nutrients. So protein, B12, and those omega-3 fatty acids, to make sure you're getting other sources of those to supplement that vegan diet. And then if you do want to transition towards something like that, but cutting out all those foods may seem a little intimidating, you can do something like pescatarian, which includes fish and shellfish. So things like seafood down here in the Keys you can start doing, because like I said, it has those omega-3s, which are really important for health and our immune system. So I would recommend doing something maybe more of a transitional diet. So maybe just choosing fish, and then maybe also including dairy and eggs would be another good one to include as well. because those are also good foods for us, provide a good source of protein, and some B vitamins, things like that. Are you thinking about doing more of a plant-based diet at this point?
I am thinking about it.
Okay. Have you heard that it's just better for you for some reason, or?
It just sounds healthier, and I'm not healthy.
Okay. Yeah, so I would definitely start by just trying to increase your fruits and vegetables at this point. Trying some new plant-based recipes. So really trying to highlight those fruits and vegetables in your dish instead of like highlighting the meats. There's so many great resources online. So you could start searching some plant-based recipes and see what comes up. Maybe choosing a fruit or vegetable that you want to try, and even searching for a recipe with that ingredient and see what you can find. So again, the biggest thing I would probably do is just trying to increase the more whole foods, the fruits, the vegetables, things like beans and nuts and seeds would be a good starting point to try to get towards that plant-based diet.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry if that was a little intense and a lot of information. But yeah, just trying to increase those fruits and vegetables can lead towards a better diet and more towards plant-based.
Okay.
Well, I am still loving my HelloFresh boxes every week. They are wonderful, and all the recipes that they send to me, of course, I do the meat and the vegetables, and they have the option for vegan. So, so if anyone out there is listening to this video and thinks, oh, I'm not a good cook, or I just, I can look at those recipes online, but I just may not be able to put it all together. I'm not a great cook either, but these HelloFresh recipes that they send you, and then all the ingredients that are involved, it's not difficult to follow along with the instructions, and it's delivered straight to my door. So I don't have to have that worry of going to the grocery store to pick them out. So if you have that hesitancy about changing your diet to a different, route that you are already on, but you want to change it, like Miss Arita is saying, perhaps that's another option for you if you just need assistance that way in the beginning. And then once you get the hang of it, you can keep those recipe cards like Hannah's talked about and use them later, and you go shopping once you've learned what you need and the size of the vegetables and the fruits that you need, and cook it yourself. So definitely look into that if that's an option. I can definitely tell you 2 thumbs up for that from my personal experience.
Yeah, the HelloFresh, all of those are really great, especially if you're new to cooking and you just need a little bit of help in the kitchen. That can be a great starting point. So those are great. That's a great thing to touch on, Elizabeth. Great.
Any other questions, Miss Arita?
No.
Okay. Well, Hannah, what do you think about our next topic and being about nutrition during pregnancy? And I don't know if maybe, because I know that's your specialty of WIC and such. So I know we haven't even touched on that yet in our nutrition classes. And I thought if maybe that could almost be a series, because I know that's a lot of information of, different trimester nutrition needs. And then after you have the baby and you're breastfeeding, maybe that could be an idea. What do you think?
Yeah, I think a maternal, maybe child series would be a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to do that. That is definitely my wheelhouse. So that would be awesome.
Well, I thought too that might be easier for you during the holiday season coming up. That wouldn't take a tremendous amount of research because you do it every day, to a point where you probably have a lot of information at your fingertips already that wouldn't take a lot of time for you to put together a series. I think that would be really cool for our ladies here in the Keys that may either be already pregnant or are thinking about having children and need a little help and guidance. So if you think that's cool, we'll start that out. What do you think? A 1, 2, 3 month type of style, or what do you think off the top of your head?
Something like that. That would be good. Maybe some, pre-pregnancy information, during pregnancy. Postpartum nutrition is also really important. Breastfeeding, obviously, you touched on. Yeah, we can make it 3 to 4 if you wanted to. So I'll work on that.
Okay.
And we'll definitely focus on those topics though the next few classes.
All right, and then before we end, let's look at our dates and tell the listeners what a good date in November would be for us to do our next class.
Want to do November 20th, so before Thanksgiving?
Perfect.
Okay.
So we'll call that pre-pregnancy or nutrition. What do you want to call that?
Yeah, we'll do, let's see. Yeah, pre-pregnancy nutrition. That would be good.
Okay.
Yep.
Very cool. Well, I hope our listeners can spread the word from this point forward of the next upcoming class on Saturday, November 20th at 1 p.m. here in our RHN boardroom and virtually with Miss Hannah Hamilton. And we appreciate you and look forward to our next topic of pre-pregnancy.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll do some fertility nutrition as well. So we'll do like fertility, pre-pregnancy nutrition. That'd be great.
Okay, very cool.
All right, awesome.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right,
Thanks so much. We'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, Hannah.
Bye.